Well, thanks for everyone for joining us, and Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a good holiday. As you're aware, we're here to announce the extension of our quarterback Cody Fajardo through the 2022 season. We reached out to Cody just about 3 weeks ago and expressed our interest to try to extend his contract past this upcoming season. At that point, Cody assured us that he would like to entertain those discussions as well. So we started working on those conversations for I guess we worked on them for a couple of weeks, and then we were able to come to an agreement early this morning. We're super happy that we've been able to extend Cody. We're obviously very happy for him and his family, and even more so happy for our organization. So excited to be able to announce that today. Cody is on the call, and we're just going to go ahead and open it up for questions if you have any.
Jeremy O'Day, are you smiling? Is that a smile?
It's bright in here, DT. I don't know. Maybe it's just the light in here. Maybe.
Why was it important to extend Cody?
I think we just, we're hoping that it's a long-term deal with Cody, and we obviously expressed that in the past. Without having a season, we were down to his last year of his contract, and really just wanted to make sure he knew we wanted him back for a longer duration, and then also just the the security that it brings to that position. Right, he's played at a high level for the year that he's been able to be the starter, and we certainly want him to be a part of it. So called him, made sure he knew that. We assumed that he did know that, but wanted to make sure he knew that. And then, really it was more the ball was in his court to decide if if he wanted to entertain extending the length of the contract, or if he wanted to explore other things. So thankfully he was wanting to stay with our organization, and obviously makes you feel pretty good when your quarterback wants to come back. As
a GM, would it be uncomfortable having your starter on an expiring contract?
It's a great question. Whether you want your franchise quarterback to be playing out his last year of his contract. I think I took all those things into consideration with we could go into the year and let him play the contract out and work through it. I do believe even if we went that route, that hopefully we would have both mutually agreed at some point, but maybe just gives a little bit of peace of mind, certainly for us as a team, and hopefully to Cody as well, knowing that he's has more term under his contract than just the 1 year.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cody, what's it mean to you to sign this extension to keep you with the Roughriders through 2022?
I'm excited. I talked to Jo this morning about it. I feel like we've been negotiating more than we've been playing football, which is something you obviously don't want to be doing. Main focus is 2021, but being with the team for another 2 years is something I'm really looking forward to. Like I talked about when I signed my first extension, just having that security, knowing where you're going to be at in a career, where my next year was going to be. So having that with my family definitely makes us feel a lot better going into this season, not being on obviously your last year of your contract. So I'm just excited for the opportunity at hand. I'm chomping at the bit to play some football. I went to my backyard after everything was final, and I kind of threw the football at a few trees and a few trash cans back there because I just wanted to throw the football, and I was excited about it. But very, very pleased to be with the team for the next 2 years.
Cody, you've revealed before that you didn't sign a longer contract because you wanted to see if there was NFL opportunities possibly afterwards. You've only signed a 1 year extension here. So is this still able to allow you to leave that door open for NFL opportunities later?
I think that's a great question. Most of the other quarterbacks, especially the high-profile quarterbacks in the league, are all signed through 2022, I believe. So to sign an extension longer than that, obviously there's a little bit of free agent market when that happens, when all these quarterbacks come up. So for me, like I talked about earlier in the year, I would love to play my entire career starting from 2019 on with the Roughriders. But things change. I'm only getting older. I'm not getting any younger. So we'll see how the next few years play out. But I'm very excited to be with the team for the
And
next 2 years.
Cody, we know players across the league and probably quarterbacks mostly will have to take a bit of a pay cut. Is that kind of in this? Is there a restructuring as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, I took a pay cut in this year coming up, 2021, like every quarterback did. And J.O.'s done a tremendous job just kind of with his hands tied behind his back, putting a team on the field and continuing to sign as many guys as we had. Like I talked about before, I thought our 2020 team on paper was one of the most talented teams I think the league would have seen. It's unfortunate that we didn't go out there and play football and see how it all played out, but just being able to help the team in any way I can, especially in 2021, to get the CFL back rolling again and hopefully create some revenue for the team going forward in 2022 and years after, because I'm in it for the CFL to flourish. I'm in it. I want this league to be as great as it possibly can, because I've stated time and time again, without the CFL, I wouldn't be playing football. I'd probably be working an office job or some business job somewhere. So I'm very thankful for the CFL.
And I'd imagine you're busy recruiting, trying to get a lot of those players back for 2021. How's that going? And how excited are you to see that Shaq and William Powell will be coming back?
Oh, man, huge. Man, my Christmas was made when the Roughriders were making those announcements. I didn't even know. So it was all a surprise to me, just like when everyone else got it. So, their 3 days of Christmas that they had there was pretty awesome to have Nick Marshall back, to have both Blue and Clarkey back, and then to sign Shaq Evans was incredible. And I told my wife that was one of my favorite Christmas gifts of the year, was having those guys back around us.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cody, congratulations. In this short time, what does this franchise, this province come to mean to you?
Oh, it's everything for me. Honestly, being able to be a professional quarterback again, right? Just having a kid. I don't know if that's my feedback. Is that me on the feedback? Sorry. Is it better now?
I think you're good now.
It was Rob. It was Rob. I muted him.
Okay. Yeah, great question, Rob. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to sign an extension and being able to play for the Roughriders. I talk about going to the grocery store and going to buy two things and being there for 45 minutes to an hour. How much a lot of the fans have reached out to me and my family over the year of no football, and just truly showed to me how much all the fans can't wait to have football again. And so I talked about it earlier in the year when everybody was opting out of their contract, and how I'm committed to my contract because I love playing in Sask. And I want to be here as long as the team wants me to be here, because there's nothing like going out to practice, seeing fans in the stands, going to dinner, talking to kids who said that they were pretending to be me in their backyard. Those are the little things that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, not the touchdowns at the end of the game or the 2-minute drives. It's going to be those little things that truly make you feel like you have a purpose in playing football.
Once COVID relents, et cetera, how much would you like to be more ingrained in the community than the circumstances currently allow?
Oh, a lot. And I talked about this last time I did the contract extension. My goal was to at least get up there 3 to 5 times in the off season. And unfortunately, I was only able to get up there once before all the COVID stuff hit. But to be able to just go home for 6 months and just get away from it, I think the community needs more. And I think I wouldn't be doing my part and using my platform as the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to go up there and help out in the community, help out, raise money any way I can in a province that lives, breathes, and loves Roughrider football.
Thanks, Cody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Hey, Cody, happy New Year. I know you talked about the NFL being a goal, and Britton asked that about it earlier. I think Doug Flutie was like 35 when he made his return to the Buffalo Bills after the CFL. Is that still a goal for you, though, getting to the NFL?
80s and 90s quarterbacks were just built different. They were like just top of their time. And Doug Flutie, he's a rare case. For me, being 30 years old when my contracts end, we'll see what happens. I had a long talk with my family about it. Obviously the money is there in the NFL, but to stand on the sideline and hold a clipboard for, a couple extra thousands of dollars. I don't know if it's worth it unless you can be the guy in CFL for many years to play football, because nobody wants to just stand on the sideline and hold the clipboard, right? You want to actually play and use your talent. So for me, I've talked about how indebted I am to the CFL, and I can't make that decision right now. I'll figure that out. Hopefully I have 2 amazing years, 2 Grey Cup championships, 2 MVPs in the next 2 years. But that's obviously the goal, and it's kind of a fantasy, but I think it can definitely come true, and we'll see how these next 2 years
There's been
play
some
out.
other quarterbacks also added for a few years. I'm thinking about Mason Fine. I know you're tight with Isaac Harker and the other quarterbacks. How do you envision that quarterback room maybe working? And have you talked to Mason?
I reached out to him on Twitter. It didn't look like he was too active on Twitter, but I'm definitely going to reach out to him as the season gets closer. From what Jo and I have talked about, he's a great kid. I looked at his stats, and he has tremendous stats. Reminds me a lot like myself, a guy who just lit up the college ranks and never really got his opportunity in the NFL. So I'm excited. I think the best thing about being an older quarterback now, which is weird for me to say, is to help kind of guide these young guys. Being there for Isaac last year and just showing him the ropes of the CFL, because that's how I became, where I think I am, is guys like Ricky Ray, Travis Hulay, John Jennings, even Logan Kilgore. I talked about him being the first guy I ever met with the Argonauts, and he was a 4-stringer. I was a 5th stringer, and he was telling me everything about the playbook and how he goes about it. And that's who I want to be. If a guy beats me out because he's more talented than me, that's football, but I'll never just hold things back or not help a guy because I want an advantage. I want to help anybody that I can, and I'm a competitor, and I'm willing to give you everything I got. You give me everything you got, and let's go out there and compete.
And last thing I want to ask, I mean, we all know your passion for being a rider, Cody. How much was it factored in at all, the fact that the Grey Cup now will be held in Regina in 2022?
I think the 2 biggest things was having Jo around and having Coach Dickey around till 2022. Those are big things. Anytime you can have the GM and the head coach there at the same time as a starting quarterback, you don't want to have any changing in the guards, I guess, so to speak, in the business aspect. So that was a big thought for me too, and my family, and as well as the Grey Cup. I felt like we were robbed with the COVID stuff in 2020. And so I wanted to be able to hopefully play in a home playoff or home Grey Cup game in 2022, but got to take care of 2021 first. Can't really look forward to that too much. Like I said, 2021 is the goal, and I'm getting myself ready, and I just can't wait to get my feet back on the ground.
And the reporters, we were robbed too, okay?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Jeremy, how does the negotiations go when you have to open with, here's your new contract, we have to take a pay cut? How does that work out? Is that one of the first things you say to the players? Or even
Well, I think Cody's situation, it was kind of a combination of, he wanted to restructure his 2021 contract, but also extend them. So it's kind of just, you're really just starting over fresh, Murray, and trying to work through the details of it. And obviously there's a little give and take with the situation that we're facing right now with not having a season, and then the financial challenges that we're having across our team and our league. So it's more of, you have to ask Cody, but I'm sure that there was some expectations of us asking, and but more importantly, for us, it was trying to get another year added to it. And, I think that's the kind of the positive part of it is that there's an added year, and we're, I'm sure Cody's like me, where I'm excited that we're talking about contracts, talking about playing football, and so those conversations, they weren't comfortable with Cody, but the vast majority of our team they're not comfortable with as well, Murray. But it's kind of something that we had to do.
Cody, do you also feel as a quarterback you're leading the team by agreeing to take less money even though the situation?
I think definitely when you're the highest paid player on the team, Jo reached out to me first because he wants to see what he's dealing with. I understood that 2020 was a hard year, not only for the CFL, but everybody included, all the players who weren't getting paid. and just the no revenue coming into the CFL. So my family and I, we were comfortable. Like I talked about, we got our signing bonus in 2019, so we were able to live comfortably. And there was a lot of guys hurting more than us. So to be able to take a pay cut to help the team as much as I can is definitely what I want to do. And you're exactly right, Murray. It's being a leader. And if I'm the guy who goes out and says, I want the money, and then try and go in the locker room and be a leader a different way, guys will be like, it's conflicting, you know? So for me to just prove my leadership on and off the field and just try and retain the talent. Man, we had such a talented team that was going to take place. But I talked to J-Ho this morning as well about like guys like Shepley who, you know, got a great opportunity because of COVID. And now he signed with the Niners in the futures deal. And that's a great loss for us. I told Shepley myself, selfishly, I'd love for you to be in a Riders uniform, but I couldn't be any more proud of him to be able to sign in the NFL. So some guys definitely took advantage of it, and I think it's going to hurt our team, but they're in a better spot now. But I think moving forward, I'm willing to help the team in any way I can because the ultimate goal is winning a Grey Cup. It's not being the highest paid player. It's not making a bunch of money. It's about putting a ring on everyone's finger and celebrating those time with those guys in the locker room.
There are reports of your contract coming out before about the 400 grand range. Would you be willing to say if it's in that, how much of a cut you took? I guess people,
They find a way to have my contract down to $1.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting, but I know Riders media sells. So yeah, I took a pretty decent pay cut. J.O. was very willing to help me out though here in 2022 moving forward. So to be able to give a little bit now to make a little bit more on the back end was something that I was willing to do. And I thought it would work for both parties. And I think that J.O. should be able to retain, as you saw, a lot of our top guys from last year, and as well as bring in some young guys who can really make some plays on the field. So that's what I'm excited about.
thanks, Cody. Appreciate it. Good luck. Congratulations. How's the new house?
Oh, it's great. Wife's back in town. That's probably the most positive news I've got. She's no longer doing long distance. So the dog's probably the happiest out of everyone here.
Well, J.O., is there any news on other guys like Charleston Hughes? We're looking, Swerve is down with, supposedly trying out with the Giants. Any news on how that way? When you see one of the guys trying out with the Giants, what do you think?
Sorry, Murray, can you repeat
sorry,
that?
It's a long ramble. What's the status with Charleston Hughes? Have you talked to him? And Swerve more is supposed to have a workout with the Giants. Do you have any update on the status?
Yeah. So Charleston it's kind of the same as the last time we spoke, where we're in discussions over a contract. We've gone back and forth a little bit with that, and just waiting to hear back from Charleston. And then as far as Kyron has a workout today with the New York Giants, and he's been in New York for the past 5 days in quarantine, and he has his workout today. So we'll know more on Swerve probably before the end of the day.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll get one more in there, Ariel, for
Sure.
Jeremy. I kind of asked Cody a similar question, but we didn't get to chat with you after you signed Mason, and I'm just wondering, you know, how you picked him up and what he's going to add to the team over the next 3 years.
Yeah, it's you know, just kind of our philosophy, Claire, is to try to bring in as many quality football players and bring in as much competition as possible. And we do that across the board. I know when you sign a quarterback, it attracts some attention, but we really do that in every position every year with trying to create the best group of players that we can. It's kind of that's my job as a GM, is to bring in the most talent as possible. So Mason is someone that's been on our neg list for a multiple number of years. We followed his career in North Texas, and you know, he's a highly productive quarterback and a high character kid, and just didn't get an opportunity in the NFL because really because of his height. He's a little shorter as a quarterback, something that he's been battling throughout his career, and just a fiery kid, tough kid, obviously super productive, and I think he'll be a good addition to our quarterback room, and he'll fit in real well with the group that we already have.
Do we read into his stats, Jeremy? Those are just pretty impressive numbers he had with UNT.
Yeah, he was just a highly productive player in college. I think that it is kind of what it is. He was very successful in college, and now it needs to translate over into the pros. And there's been a lot of successful quarterbacks that put up big numbers, but there's also been some that didn't transition over into the pro game. So he's going to get an opportunity to hear, and we're excited to see what he'll bring to the table.
Has he ever been to mini camp, or have you ever seen him at one of those camps you guys have had down in the States?
Well, we haven't had any mini camps. He just came out of college last year, so he would have been to come to one of our mini camps, but we haven't been able to have those. He did play in the East West Shrine, so we're able to see him in person at the East West Shrine, and then we have scouts in Dallas, Texas, which is right around the corner from North Texas, and so we've seen him play in person multiple times, and we've been following him for a number of years. So it's one of those long-term negless guys that you may never see, but fortunate for us, we were able to get him signed, and we're excited to see what he brings to the table.
So Cody, what's next for you? There's been no football since last November. You've got a new house, you got the wife around. What are you going to do to get ready for hopefully a May start of the season?
Hopefully we can get some of the vaccines pumped out and be able to get some of the guys to come back in Reno and get some time on task. Reached out to Coach Moss, and we're going to get on a phone call here at the end of the week and kind of get things back going again, which is exciting to talk about football again. So hopefully we can find a way to maybe do a little mini camp somewhere, just players, and get some time on task, because you got to remember a whole year off, but we're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit because we have a brand new offense that we're trying to implement, and we never got to do it. So I'm trying to get as much time on task with the new offense that I'm very excited about, and I think the Rider fans should be excited about, but be able to get that timing back down. That's the one little guy in the back of my head kind of just creeping in, the little doubt saying, you haven't played football in a whole year, but the good news is nobody's played football in a whole year. So just getting back to the timing with receivers, being around, in the pocket with defensive linemen around you, just those little things that you really don't think about. Those are the things I'm looking forward to when we get to camp.
You also mentioned how you're coaching football a little bit too. Are you going to be doing that still, or is that still up in the air?
Yeah, so they're supposed to start the season here around February, and it goes about February to April. So yeah, I was coaching quarterbacks at Reno High, and hopefully if they have a season, it's still up in the air. If they have a season, I'm going to coach and get around as much football as I can. Definitely got a different perspective on coaching as opposed to just being a player. Have a lot more respect for the coaches, but also doing my quarterback camps. I got 2 quarterbacks coming up here shortly. So the good news about having training quarterbacks one-on-one is I get to throw every single time with them. So I have about 14 guys a week, 10 to 14 guys a week. So I'm throwing, 10 to 14 times every week. And that's something that is really cool and different for me. And also when you can teach something, you truly understand it. And so being able to teach it to these young guys helps me understand it more. And it helps me, I think, become a better quarterback because I have to teach it and I have to know everything. Some of these kids' questions nowadays, man, they're tough for me to answer. And so I'm just trying to give them every little nuggets I can to help them be a better quarterback.
Cody, what's the COVID climate like down in Reno? What are the restrictions like? How has it changed life in the States as opposed to here?
Yeah. Well, we got some snow last week, but it's nowhere what you guys are dealing with. So currently, I think it's around 40, nice and sunny, Fahrenheit, obviously. It gets down to about 15s in the night, but my golf game has kind of taken a little bit of a step back because I haven't been able to go out. But other than that, being able to throw in 40-degree weather, and I try and get out there even when it's cold. I make my quarterbacks go out there because I know if it's snowing, it's only going to benefit me and them. Because if you want to win a Grey Cup, you're going to have to play in the cold. And we understood that last year. And I've understood that, in 2017 with the Argos playing in that Snow Bowl, you're going to have to win a game in the cold. And to be able to do that as a quarterback, get as much reps as you can, that's something you can't replicate. You can only do it if, God and Mother Nature can help you with that.
Sorry, I didn't phrase that very well. I was curious as to COVID and how that's affecting
Oh,
Just the general
COVID. I thought you said the
climate
cold.
of what you do. It's a bad question by me.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, COVID, it's a little bit difficult. Probably the best thing is we have a gym here in our house, our new house here. So being able to get workouts in, kettlebells, dumbbells, and having everything here. It was a struggle when we were in a 1-bedroom apartment in DC because we didn't have access to anything. So I was going on these long runs with my wife, and I felt myself getting stronger and in shape, but I was just losing a ton of weight. And so now being able to do some more strength training and do some more stretching and yoga and just kind of being able to get that going has been something that has been hard during COVID, but we've been blessed enough to have a gym and to be able to do that. And so for Christmas, I bought my wife what they call the mirror. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but she loves it. I love it. It kicked my butt the first time I did it. And so it's kind of fun. They have dance classes on there, kickboxing classes that my wife likes to make me do with her. And so I'll wake up the next day pretty dang
How much
sore.
has all of this just fueled your appetite to actually play again? It's been more than a year, and the world has changed so much since you last set foot in Regina.
Yeah, the only positive is my body is the best it's ever felt currently, right? And so I'm able to have a whole year off, which I've never had. I started playing football when I was 6 years old, and I'm 28 now. So 22 years of just nonstop football contact year after year after year. Just having that whole year off has really helped my body and mentally being able to just study the playbook, watch football, being able to watch the NFL. There's so much to be learned, but to have to go out there and do it again, it's going to take me a little bit, as it is everybody, just to get kind of back in the rhythm. The hardest part was in 2019. I felt like I was in such a rhythm for the first time in my career. I felt like week in, week out, I was playing at a high productive level because I felt so confident in what I was doing and I was in a rhythm. So to be able to get myself back to that as fast as possible, and I know every player in the CFL is going to try and do that, but the first week, I guarantee you it's going to feel like a playoff game because everybody's chomping at the bit to play some football, and you're going to see some guys throwing their bodies around in week one like it's the Grey Cup, and it's going to be an exciting year for the CFL.
How sweet will that day be, whenever it may come?
Man, I might get chills, up and down my spine. I try and picture myself coming out of the tunnel to a packed mosaic. And it's just one of those things that is just unreal, and you can't really picture it yet because it's so far away, but it's getting closer as the time comes. So when that day comes, man, I'm going to have a big smile on my face. I'm going to feel like a kid again, that's for sure. Feel like that 6-year-old little Fajardo trying to throw the ball around in flag
Awesome.
football.
Thanks again, Cody. Take care.
Yeah.